Hey everybody, welcome back to Spin Rack. I'm here with my boy Cal. Cal, say what is up?
Hey, what's up? We're ready to rock.
Hey, today we're going to be talking about the conclusion of Agatha All Along. I
Do
know
we
this is
have to?
very
Do we have to?
this is yeah, we have to. This has been a very divisive series all along. I get it, Agatha all along. But we wanted to just get back to you on some of the main points that happened at the very end, and just discuss it and tell and see if any of you guys had anything to say. So let's get on with this. We be mindful of of course, always playing nice, Cal. So here are the main issues with the conclusion going on, and I'm just going to point out some of the big points. That probably the biggest thing at the end of Agatha All Along is to find out that the Witch's Road was not real. The Witch's Road was really set up by Agatha to take the power of other witches. So all the people that you saw, that whole setup of the Witch's Road was not a real thing. She used the song.
So wait a minute, wait. Hold on. I'm gonna play it like the person who has no idea what you're talking about. You're telling me that these chicks all knew the song to a place that wasn't real?
They didn't know it wasn't real. Because her son Nicholas Scratch, I believe they said, wrote the song, and it
Mhm.
was played by Alice's mother. And she put it out there, and people, like, she was like, oh, it's a real thing, and people were going on the road, but in reality she was using
And
the
she's
road.
the only survivor, and everybody knows this woman who they shouldn't trust believed her and
And
trusted her.
so actually, it's kind of great because the title gets it. It tells you Agatha all along. This is like the most duplicitous woman to ever go. We knew that she was double crossing everybody, and I mean, this was a little confusing whether she was doing it for her son. I think she was doing it to prevent her son dying, but I think she was also had to deal with Death, who she's in a relationship or was in a relationship with, basically where the deal was, because she should have died a very long time ago, that she could take these women's powers, but she would give Death their, I guess, give them Death would get their bodies because they're dead. And so it's kind of sad in that you have in this episode that we see where she knows that the witch's road isn't real. She gets all these people to die. You have Alice died. You had Miss Hatcher died. You had Lila die. They didn't have to die, but and she knew it was fake, but she went along with the whole thing. So I mean, wow. I mean, to me, that
Well,
was one of the biggest
that's
things.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good because as I was watching it, I'm thinking, well, we'll probably see these women again or something. The show had such a light touch. It had such a light touch that for the reveal to be that hey, it really is Agatha all along. This chick is not good. She's evil.
She's
She's
horrible.
not evil. I'd rather she's not misunderstood or anything of that nature. She's a witch in the terms of what it means to be a witch. She's evil.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it was just when I realized that, I was like, what the goonie goo goo? She did all this, and remember, this is what she was saying. She had the power to take power or get power from other witches, right? And
Mhm.
they called it. Some of them said at the very beginning of the episode, like, "Hey, you people know about you, what you do to witches." But it's like it's so crazy. It's like when you tell people something, but they don't really believe it. They're hoping for better. She's like, "I'm going to give you your power back," but in the back of your head, you can't really trust her. You really can't trust her.
Oh,
But
oh,
still,
you mean like the presidential election in the United States?
yeah. Well, you hear things and you're like, they say things and you're like, what? Your history is a little different. So it was really, really cool. I thought the way that worked out. I did not expect that. But then again, it just hit me. The deaths of all those other witches. I mean, how many witches did she kill with this whole witches road to gain power? I mean, wow. That
And how many witches will she kill again? But
well,
it makes sense, right? She's the only survivor of the witches' road because she's killing everybody.
well, I think Jen, the sister, got away. She got out, and so she's living her life.
Oh,
You
oh,
know,
Petey will be happy about that.
right? Um, so, but we really find out that Rio is Death, right? That's who people were suspected this from the very beginning, you know. And it's kind of interesting because Rio is really should have been in Thanos' movie, right? I thought that when they had Hela in Ragnarok, that they were going to bring her in as a manifestation of Death and helping to explain one of the reasons why Thanos ended up destroying half the universe. But they decided, like, nah, we don't really want that. But then you have this one as an aspect of Death, Rio, and she is clearly in love with Agatha, And she made a special deal with Agatha, and she says it in the show that no one else got the special treatment where she was able to continue living, as long as she was giving, I guess, bodies to her. Um, so it's a very interesting way for it to go forward. At the very end, she dies, right? I guess Rio finally takes her, but she comes back as a ghost. And to me, this is probably the problem I had most with this whole concept. Like,
It
oh,
sucks.
you know,
That was the problem, right? It sucks, right?
so she's now haunting Billy, and they're on their way.
Come on, wait, come on, don't do that to the people. Come on, if you feel that it sucks, say that it sucks. So come on, man.
Yeah, you know
Come
what?
on,
I'm gonna
we got
say
people. The people are here. They're listening. They want to know your opinion and impression. Do you think it sucks?
it
Come on, be real.
completely sucks. That
Thank
she comes
you,
out that
thank you. Was that so hard? Was that so hard? Come
again,
on,
we have our resume in with Disney, and we don't want to offend anybody there. I'm
we're
trying
gonna have to put a new resume in under new pseudonyms.
to. So
They've
yeah,
obviously seen too many of these shows.
so it kind of was whack to me that she returns as a ghost and she's there with Billy. They're gonna go find his little brother. I think it was Tommy, trying to find him. We see him in his full Wiccan persona. Dude, I don't know. Some people said the show did well. I'm not sure. Let me actually Google it right now.
How do you know? There's no ratings, so how do you know?
Well, I mean, different organizations are now trying to track and see what's going on. Well, number one, they do this thing. I think Nielsen does this programming, and I don't know if it ever popped up on the Nielsen charts. You know, Wiccan, not Wiccan. I think it's all along. It got a Rotten Tomato of 4.2, which is interesting.
Four point
They
two out of
claim,
what? 10?
yeah, 10 out of 5 out of 5. Sorry, but it also had they claim 9.3 in a Reddit article. Here it is. Agatha on Variety, it says hit 4.6 views in the ultimate episode. You know, in its its first day on Disney, and the finale hit 3.9 million. So I think they lost a lot of couple as it went along. And I think some of this the
What were the initial numbers? It started with
4.2, but I mean it depends because you have people also they count the type of like some people they count the day that people watch and others count like a week or a month later, you know. Not a month later, several weeks later sometimes. So they're saying that they got 9.3 views in 1 week, so it could be true. We don't know because Disney's not really releasing it. But in the general, they're saying that the series itself got like and Variety is the one reporting this. I'm not sure who their source is.
yeah.
And
I'm not sure who their
it's Nielsen.
source
Nielsen
is
is
either.
right here. It is. October 25th. Nielsen says this is deadline. October 25th. Nielsen says that Agatha All Along is still bewitching audience ahead of the finale. Well, this is just before they drove 4.2 million views globally after just 1 day of streaming, up 35% from the premiere. So they actually went up. No data
Yeah,
was
I was thinking because if they premiered at 4.2 million and their finale was viewed at 3.9, that's a very small drop. So I would think that does show that they maintained their audience pretty well. If I'm hearing those numbers
well,
correctly.
according to Disney and according to this article in Deadline, they said that the first episode had 9.3 million views in 7 days.
Okay.
Right? But there's no further data. There's no, they don't define. Another thing's how they define views. Netflix usually define views if you watched it for 1 minute. So I think they changed that. But it's there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't know. But the question is, did it do well? And how well
Well,
did it do at the very end?
we know how to answer that. Okay. If we see another show did well. If we don't, okay, they said, you know what, good enough. We're gonna take the
Well,
money and run.
but the problem that they had with all these shows is that they were saying they were Marvel has done a big 180 on this whole thing. So when they were doing all these episodes, they were doing these episodes saying, "Hey, we're giving you a movie like experience with 100. We're putting $100 million or $200 million into these series, but it's only a limited time, one at a time only. There's going to be 6 episodes divided into, I mean, 6 hours dividing into however many episodes, and this is what you're getting, right? So people are supposed to say, "Oh wow, it's an extended, I guess a mini series," but the problem was the cost was just out of control, and there was no thought for follow up shows. The only follow up show they said off the bat was going to be Loki, right? This was not supposed to show up, but now with the new Daredevil shows, they're getting the people who used to do the Marvel TV shows back in and say, you make a standard TV show, you're not going to make what 15, 10 episodes or whatever, with the expectation that there will be, if things go well, that there will be a second or
Well,
third.
yeah, you're supposed to end. You're supposed to end the season as if you're not going to get another season. You keep it. You can keep it open, but you shouldn't be ending seasons on a cliffhanger. And then what they also realized with Netflix, because Netflix was like, I one of the things I heard with Netflix was like, Netflix was like, we want 13 episodes. And for say like Daredevil, you could get 13 episodes. But for what was it, Jessica Jones? Jessica Jones, he was like, okay, we don't really have a story for 13 episodes. We really don't. So that's when they started throwing in the complication and stuff of that nature, and that started to water down. I think well, some of the other series, definitely suffered with that. And then, of course, you get to Iron Fist. By the time they get to Iron Fist, they're like, "Oh, we don't have any more money. We're still doing the series. Yeah, we don't have any more money though. So, good luck, guy. What about my training? Here's a book. Read the book. Roll 'em. So that was how that went. But they did understand because when you're doing a series, if you look at something like the first year, like Cheers, okay, the Cheers did not write like, "Hey, we are going to get a second season," but it didn't write like this is going to be the first and last. So they wrote it so that you had a end. You had an end to what was going on for this particular season, and of course, there were things to come back from, but it didn't end on these cliffhangers. Where it was like, oh, wait a minute, is the story resolved or not? They made certain not to do those things. These guys didn't do that. They were just writing a story and they're like, oh, well, let's just keep it open just in case. I'm like, no, you can't do that. You have to give people an ending.
No, and you're right. And unfortunately, I think now that the economics of trying to do a movie like miniseries, they are like, it's done. They can't afford it. And then now the TV series are going to be a lot less expensive going forward. And there was some quote saying that this cost, let me see, they said that it cost 40 million, which is a dramatic departure compared to what was with like She-Hulk, which cost over 200 million. So it's they're I guess they're reining in the cost, they're reining in the way they're making shows, and if they can do them for a lot less, like something as little as 40 million
Well,
versus
there
21,
was
we could see.
initially it was fine. You could spend that much money because they were making money.
Oh, of course, if you make money, you
They
can do
thought everybody
that.
thought streaming. Well, the other thing is they thought COVID was going to last a lot longer. So these guys were like, okay, we're going to be doing the streaming, we're going to do this. Everybody was trying to, come out with their own service. We're trying to claim this particular thing. And then it was like, wait a minute, what do you mean people don't have to be home anymore? What about the streaming over here? What do you mean we're stuck with it? Ah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this article here from Forbes, and they said that the budget for Agatha All Along was $40 million.
That's about
But
right.
Loki cost $23 million per episode, and
Yeah.
Moon Knight cost 24 million the authors like generally I don't know why, and WandaVision
It was
cost
the,
$5 million.
you know where all the money came. Moon Knight, they spent a ton of money. They spent a ton
Yeah.
of money on those effects. Okay, the suit, and then that whole episode where it was him in on that Egyptian that CGI Egyptian barge with the hippopotamus. That's where your money was. It was like 23 million per episode. It was like, no, it might have been 1 million per episode with the exception of that one, and that episode was like 60, 70 million.
So, and you
You
see,
could
it's
see
going to be
if
easy
you
for
could put
Agatha to turn a profit because on this show. But again, the subject matter, especially with Wiccan's identity, may also limit it to how far. I mean, we're talking about selling this outside the U.S. It may not be quite as popular or sell as well. So it'd be only a Disney Planet show. But it's like how the CW shows used to make a lot of money by selling the shows around the world. You don't have the same level here. But then again, the model is different. The whole thing is we just have to have something on a streaming channel, right? Anything to put on. Hello?
they had it was I think the numbers that they had for this show with this specific character, you got the numbers correct. Like I thought the numbers because I looked at something like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I thought that the opening episode that they had was very good. That really got me interested in the overall show. And then you look at, I mean, you can see where you're going to have to spend the money. You have the actor salaries, okay, but then what are the visual effects that you're going to be, that you're going to have to accomplish with this particular series? And then you see, okay, fine. But I mean, your CGI is the most expensive stuff. So you look at any of the shows that had the most CGI, those are going to be the biggest budgets. And what was the show with the most CGI? Wasn't it, what was that? I'm thinking either Moon Knight or She-Hulk.
She-Hulk was a lot of time. But listen, so overall, Agatha All Along, I think to me, definitely disappointed. It was not something that it didn't go the way I'd hoped. I mean, other than that big twist being that the road was they literally tell you in the title, Agatha All Along, that she was basically using the witches to to gain more power for
That's
her.
right.
And so that I
Stupid.
thought was like, wow, that really, really was something that you had to like give mad credit to because I
Yeah,
wouldn't
you
see.
see the picture of her. If you go right now, go to Disney Plus, and you can look at the picture they have. That banner that they have for the show, and you see the look on her face, and she's looking right at you. What's she saying? Stupid, stupid. I told you it was me all along. Stupid.
Yeah, it was. She didn't do that. Let me see if I can find that Disney Plus. You said right?
Mm-hmm. Bring up that image right there. She's got that look on her face, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's such a nice image." And it's like, no, it says right there, Agatha all along. All you need to do is just write a little word bubble underneath it. Stupid.
Yeah, I guess that clarifies it, right? She did. We knew. It's like you knew who she was, and you still stuck to it, right?
It's right there in the title.
Yeah, you know, she was manipulating all of them.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh no, it's gonna be like, oh no, you know what? It's gonna be like WandaVision, and it'll be Agatha, but it'll be Wanda." Yeah, like no, stupid.
Yeah,
It was
I
Agatha
mean,
all along.
the only difference is that the Witch's Road this time was created, I believe, by Wiccan, right? He's the one who set it up because of all the stuff he read and how he thought it should be going along. But she knew this was not the Witch's Road because she set it up herself. But she still went along. That's the crazy part about it. I mean, that just shows you the deviousness of Agatha. And I don't like the fact that they kind of make her like a jolly character at the end. Oh, she has killed tons of other witches, whether it was her friends, her mother. She's killed tons of them simply for power. I don't care if they say, oh, it's for her son. It was simply for power. And
If
now they're
you're
going
a
to tell us,
viewer, if you're a viewer, do you really care? You don't know who these other characters are. You tuned in for Agatha. Did you get what you paid for? Yes, yes, you did. You should be happy.
well, you do, but I'm just saying that I think that to me, this makes Agatha really one of the better villains in the MCU. And
I
this,
agree.
and by turning her at the end, oh, I'm gonna be Billy's little, what do you call that little ghost, giving him information and background. No, this should be like Agatha now is even more evil than we ever thought, and she's not redeemable, and probably they'll do it in the end. Probably they'll say, you know what, she's going to try to take over Billy to utilize his power because that's what she always wanted. That the essence of WandaVision, she knew what was going on, and she wanted Billy. She wanted Wanda's power, right? That was the key thing. And so, what's to stop her from taking the power from Billy? So, I think everything was okay. Well, the show I've had other issues with, but I thought that big twist where we find out that the road didn't exist was all a lure for her to get more power from others was great. But then the change, oh well, she sacrificed to help Billy. Like, come on, to sacrifice to help her son. Come on, you know. But hey, that's my take on it. Cal, I believe you agree, right? So if you like what you heard, comment, subscribe, spin a rack, out.